This is a video I really wanted to make because it explains the mindset you should have towards failure and success, and the one you should avoid towards failure and success that I see a lot of people have, not only in art, but also in their training, in business, in creating content. It's all the same thing and it's all the same process. And in today's video, I really wanted to discuss how you can have a much healthier mindset towards it so that ultimately you can become way more productive and way more satisfied with the process in general. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Antonio. I've been a professional artist in the game and film industry for 8 years. I ran my own studio, and recently I built Artwod, the best app in the world where you can learn to draw in the full digital experience in one app. So I'm going to start this video with the story of Nico Cado. Now, I didn't know Nico Cado myself, but I knew the phenomena of which he was a victim. And so to start the story, Nico Cado was a YouTuber that had a small channel, and he was a vegan. And he's just started making videos that were related to how he eats. And due to health reasons, a year later, he stopped doing that and he actually changed his diet, opening him up to make more videos that were non-vegan related. And because of that, there were a couple of fluke videos where he started eating more. And then his audience rewarded him for that and suggested to eat more. And he did that and he gained more fame and more fame and more fame, until he gained around 6 or 7 million followers, but also completely destroyed his health. And it's a very famous example of the phenomenon called audience capture. And I'm going to read audience capture to you so that we'll understand the context of it. Audience capture is a phenomenon where online creators become overly influenced by their audience's desire, leading them to tailor their content and even their personality to maintain popularity and engagement. This can result in a feedback loop where creators prioritize extreme or predictable content to meet audience expectation, potentially sacrificing their own authenticity and creative freedom. So this is exactly what happened to Nico Cado. Right? He had this phenomenon called audience capture, where he was reacting to his success. And this is the premise of my video, is that in order to have a better, more productive mindset in your learning journey, whether it's in art or anything else, what you should do is you should shift from reacting to things, whether it's failure or success, to learning from them. And to put this visually very easily is that when you start your creative journey or any journey, you have an end goal, right? So your end goal is this. Now, when you are reacting to failure or success, or you are reacting to your audience, right? Whether you want to be a YouTuber or an influencer or any of that bullshit, then what happens is your goal changes into a different goal. And so we've seen this happen exactly with Nico Cado and other influencers, is that what happens is you're on your path, you have your North Star, you have your authenticity, but then suddenly you hit failure and for some degree you pivot, and then you hit success and you pivot again, and you hit different success and you pivot, and another success, you pivot, failure, you pivot, success, you pivot, until you end up with a goal you don't even recognize anymore. And the opposite of that is that when you start and you have your North Star, this is basically your North Star is your authentic self or whatever you want to reach in your life or in your journey, is that instead of pivoting, changing, and altering your behavior because you're reacting to failure or success, what you actually do is you learn from these individual things, these events that will happen anyway, but instead of shifting your path, you're just accelerating your growth. so that you become the person, artist, whoever you want to be faster. And I'm going to start doing this with a handful of examples, right? So I've written some down here so that you get a better understanding of what I'm trying to illustrate here. So we're going to start with the bad thing, right? So this is when you start reacting to things. And this is the most natural human behavior. It's reacting to things. So what does that mean? Well, let's say, and you've all experienced this, right? Let's say you react to bad drawing outcomes. Now, what happens when you react to having a bad drawing is you get a negative emotion, and you either have the feeling that you want to quit, or you want to change what you're drawing, or you want to learn something new. Like, you're reacting viscerally to the fact that this isn't working is because I haven't watched enough tutorials on this, right? You're having an emotional response to a bad drawing, and therefore you react to it and you're shifting focus. It's the same when I talk about the Dunning-Kruger effect. Is you have naive optimism, you understand that you don't have the experience required to hit your goal, therefore you come into the valley of despair because you realize this, you have a visceral reaction, and because of that, you start over instead of learning from it to grow. Very, very different outcome. Same process. So reacting to a good drawing is also bad, because reacting to a good drawing means that you're going to probably do social pandering. The reason for this is that what is reacting to a good drawing? Usually it's the outside audience reacting to it. So you post something online and you get good response. You get a lot of likes. You get more comments than you usually would get. And for that reason, you get like social validation. And because of that, because you now have this good reaction to your drawing, you start to socially pander to people. You start to do more of that thing, right? And so this leads you into another path that you might have not envisioned before. So let's take this to something like YouTube. Reacting to a bad YouTube video. Well, reacting to a bad YouTube video is usually that you either quit because maybe you get a lot of hate or bad reactions, or not the views that you thought you could hit, or the views that you historically got, whatever it is. So your reaction is to pivot and change. Right? It's an emotional response. Now, the opposite, reacting to a good video, is very similar to reacting to a good drawing. Is you get good reactions, good feedback, and because of that, you're like, I'm going to do exactly this video again. Like, I'm going to do many more of these things of this video. And the danger there is that that video might have been made because you were like, let's just throw spaghetti at the wall, or you literally just changed it up for the sake of it, but it wasn't really in line with what you usually want to do or you enjoy doing, which is more important. And because it got outside validation, you're like, well, I'm going to do more of it because it's a good outcome. Even though I don't enjoy the process, I'm getting good outcomes. And this over time, as you guys will naturally understand, will lead nowhere, or it will lead to a lot of frustration. So the same thing with reacting to a bad training day. So when you go to training, I see this a lot with people that want to get into CrossFit or like do any sports, is the reaction to a bad training day is, this ain't working. What I'm doing isn't working. I need to quit, or I could just not train at all because I'm just, deteriorating, or I'm just getting worse over time. So I'm going to quit, or I need to change my coach. I need to change my programming. It often goes paired with abrupt change. It's like, this is bad. I need to change abruptly. Same thing actually happens with a good training day. When you react to a good training day, what you're actually doing is saying like, oh, this is working. I'm going to do more of this. So you're reacting to the day itself. You felt good that day and you did a sequence of exercises, and those exercises felt great. And you're like, oh, I need to do more of that sequence. And eventually that will lead into probably injury or you getting frustrated again because you're overloading a certain system. All right. And then lastly, like, let's take it to business as well. If you react to a bad business day, again, the immediate reaction, the emotional reaction is to, oh, we need to change something, or we need to cut this, or we need to not do this, or we need to do more of this immediately because we need to make up for that bad day. It doesn't really matter what it is, but you're having an immediate reaction to something. The same thing happens when you have good business days, is that there's a lot more pandering again. Like, oh, let's just do more of this because we got a good response. A lot of this actually comes down to social behavior as well, whether it's YouTube or a business that you own, is that when you get good reaction, like good positive feedback, I mean, it's not that it's bad, but when you react to it, when you react immediately to it, when you have emotional responses to it, then you might make the wrong decisions based on short-sighted conclusions that you're pulling from that success. So reactions are short-lived. What you should change it to is, what can I learn from this? Because learning from is a longer span, like it's a longer horizon span. It's no longer, we have like a certain event happens, right? A certain event happens, and then you're like, what is everything related to that exact event in that day? Like, you're reacting to that thing in that specific moment. Whereas in when you're trying to learn from something, it's, we have a timeline, and on that timeline, something good or bad happens, and you review everything before or potentially after that could happen. And so this is learning from. And so if we rewrite that and we're like, okay, what can I learn from a bad drawing outcome? You could say, well, what should I improve, or why am I frustrated? Like, why am I frustrated with this bad drawing? Because that's also, you could also look at your mindset. Like, why is it bad? Is it because I feel bad today? Is it because everything else in my day wasn't going good? Is it because I had a certain expectation when I set out to make the drawing and the drawing didn't come out as I expected it to be? Therefore, I labeled it as bad, but maybe objectively it isn't bad. And so there's a lot of different factors that can play into the fact that you have, or that you're experiencing a bad drawing, but instead of reacting to it emotionally, you try to analyze it and you learn from it. And it's the exact same with learning from a good drawing. When you get good positive feedback and good responses to a good drawing, you don't react to it in the sense like, I'm just going to do more of this. What you should look at is, what has been everything that led up to me making this good drawing? And based on that, here's the thing, you will be able to make more good drawings that aren't necessarily that topic, because I see audience capture with artists all the time. There's people that genuinely enjoy it, right? There's people that draw the same thing over and over and over, which would drive me absolutely insane, but they do it, they love it, God bless them for it. But there's a lot of people that do social pandering, where they found, or they hit like a certain subject matter that people just, or the algorithm just generally pushes, and people love it and they like it and they comment on it, and because of that they do more of it. They have like a reaction to it and they just do more of it, despite them not necessarily enjoying it. They just go through it for the outcome, and that's dangerous, because I'm actually pretty positive and pretty sure, and I've seen this with other artists and other creators that I really like and follow, is that they have many different types of outcomes, different types of subject matters or paintings or drawings, but they understand everything that led up to them making a successful drawing, and they just can replicate it for other drawings. They learn from the process that led them to a good drawing. And this is what learning from really means for me. And then if we look at YouTube, like learning from a bad YouTube video, again, it's the same process. What led to making that video? Did I just have a different mindset today? Did I just randomly pick a topic? Is it actually a bad video, or is it just badly received? And do I actually stand behind the things I'm saying? Because if you have a reaction to it, you'll change away from that Like you'll immediately change away from that. Whereas if you actually stand behind the things you're saying, but it's just badly received, chances are high that if you're true to yourself and you make a next video that is very similar to that one, but maybe it covers a different topic, it will be very well received, right? Because audience reaction, you should really be careful with audience reaction and audience opinion, because what people say is not what they do or even how they behave. So you should really be careful with how you sort of label what a bad YouTube video is, what a bad drawing is, what a bad business day is. And if you learn from a good YouTube video, don't learn from the fact that it's this specific subject matter that made it good. Again, reverse engineer, look at what is the process that led to this good video. Is it only just the template of it? Is it the way we edited it? Is it the topic we cover? Is it a combination of those things? Is it my energy in the video? You need to become a better analyst of your own behavior. And that is not only in that specific moment in time, it's about everything that led up to it. One of the main things that I keep remembering from very experienced business owners and company owners is when something goes wrong. So when there's bad business days or bad business periods, they don't look at that specific period. I mean, they'll look at it, of course, to analyze it. But what they almost always look at is what have we stopped doing before this period that is now affecting it, or what have we started doing months or even years before this started happening that is now affecting this. They always think longer term, because if you think in the moment, you really make abrupt, emotional, wrong decisions. And with training, just like what I just mentioned is the exact same. If you have a bad training day, if you want to learn from it, you can just ask yourself the question, is this just a normal way of the cycle because I've been, doing progressive overload and maybe, I had a bad day, or maybe I didn't eat well, or maybe I didn't sleep well. Can be a number of different factors, but you also need to be in that frame of mind that you understand that there's going to be bad training days. There's going to be bad drawings. There's going to be bad YouTube videos. There's going to be bad business days. There's always going to be bad days. It's just more like how you handle them, how you are trying to analyze them more than reacting to them. And the same with success, by the way. I think the healthiest people in the world, whether it's celebrities or successful people or even, people in your family that experience some sort of success, the way that they handle that success is usually they take a distant approach from it and they view it in a larger time frame. They don't view it in the moment, as in they're reacting to their own success and they're behaving like dicks, right? Which a lot of celebrities do. Like the healthiest, more mature, like people that are very successful and very famous, they usually look at their situation from a wider view, like a high level view on either a longer time horizon, like I won't be famous forever, right? That's also a very healthy mindset. Or even from a sense like compared to everything else, like what I'm doing doesn't really matter that much. So they become more grounded and they also learn from their mistakes and their successes. And I think that's a very healthy way to go about it. And I feel like you should have a similar mindset where when you're going through something and you have a journey, and a journey always has, whether it's not an end goal, it has like certain checkpoints that you want to get to. And you should be mindful of the fact that any failure or success along that route towards that checkpoint shouldn't pivot you from the path constantly, because it will be a completely different checkpoint when you get there. And you still want it to be the same thing you set it out to be. Now, of course, things in life can change, but overall, I feel like when it comes to your authenticity, the things you want to reach in life, you usually have a good idea of what you want to get and what you want to, where you want to get to, and you don't want to be distracted all of the time. And so you need to be able to learn from your successes and failures instead of reacting to them emotionally. And so if we funnel that all down and bring it back to art, remember that both on a long time horizon or on a short time horizon, from I want to make my own comics, which is the long time horizon, to I just want to finish one page for practice, it is the exact same thing that you will go through. You will have failures when doing so, and you will have successes when doing so. And you shouldn't react to them emotionally. You should learn from them, look at them from almost like an analytical point of view. Is like, what led up to this? How did I get here? Is it because of X, Y, and Z? And if so, you can recognize that. And the better you get at that, like the better you start to understand when you have a bad drawing, it's because I probably didn't do this, this, and this in the previous days or the previous weeks. And that has led to this outcome. And the more you do this, I especially have this in training and I have it with art as well. I don't really care about a bad drawing anymore, nor do I really care about a really good drawing. I mean, I really appreciate it if it's well received, but I'm just having this mindset of it's because I stuck to my process that I usually stick to that gives me a good result, regardless of the subject. It's because I kept up with my fundamentals. Is because I practiced this? Is it because I gained this new piece of information? And all of that formula or that way of doing things has led me to this, and I can replicate that in the future. So you also have a better mindset towards the future. Whereas a lot of the times, a lot of beginners or intermediate artists that do a successful drawing that gets really well received online, they get anxiety because now they have the pressure to replicate it again in the future. And the reason you have this is because you have an emotional response to a success, but you have no idea how to replicate it in the future. And that's usually because you fail to learn from it. So adopt the mindset of trying to learn from all of your failures and successes. And I can promise you, you'll become way more productive and way more grounded in your growth, whether it's in art or in anything in life. All right. With that said, as always, happy creating, happy drawing, and I'll see you in the next one.